Hey everyone, Bill Sheridan here with the Maryland Association of CPAs. Another great CPA story for you to start off your week. We've been interviewing members near and far over the past few weeks in search of the purpose behind the profession, right? The why behind what CPAs do. This week, I sit down for a little chat with Tricia Katebini. Tricia, one of the most active CPA volunteers the MACPA has, just does a ton of stuff for us and a huge advocate for the profession. And as an audit partner with GRF CPAs and advisors, she spends much of her time working with nonprofits. So she sees her mission as helping them fulfill their mission and do the important work that they do. She's also one of the very few people I've spoken with as part of this series who describes accounting as fun. So I'm going to let her explain. Here is Tricia Katebini with her CPA story. I got to tell you, I've talked with a number of folks asking them similar questions like this. You're the first one to describe accounting as fun. So what makes it fun for you?
It's a puzzle.
Yeah.
So when I think about accounting, it all has to work, right?
Mhm.
It's not like it's it's not like I'm trying to figure out how to make something work from scratch or try to figure out something new. It's already there. There's a debit, there's a credit. It has to equate. There has to be a balance. And so it's really figuring out the different moving pieces. And then obviously, as you become more technical in your career, there's a lot more moving parts to those technical or to those that puzzle, right?
Mhm.
And how you report it out. But ultimately, it's just figuring out where all the pieces fall.
Yeah.
And so that's what made it fun in the beginning for me, because I knew there had to be a right answer.
Yeah, that's great. That would attract me to that as well. That speaks to me in a lot of ways. What what what's the purpose behind what you do? I mean, what do you accomplish by doing the work that you do, Tricia?
Yeah, so, I mentioned previously that I was a nonprofit management minor. So nonprofits have been a big part of my entire life since before I was even in middle school, in all honesty. I was working and volunteering with soup kitchens, with donating my time to some of the community nonprofits that were smaller back where I grew up. And so it's always been a part of who I am. And so when I changed to becoming an accounting major, I always wanted to work with not-for-profits. And so that's what I do today. I'm an auditor. I specialize in not-for-profits and work with them. And what keeps me here and my purpose is just seeing the great work that my clients do and knowing that I am helping to A, fulfill their mission, and B, continue to fulfill their mission by allowing them to have the transparency that they need for their financials, for funders, grantors, and the public, because that's ultimately whom we also work for as CPAs. So that's really what keeps me tied down, and the relationships that I have with those clients is really a big part of why I stay.
Yeah, making a difference by helping them make a difference. That's
Mhm.
fantastic. What's the most, and you may have touched on it there with your last answer, but what's most gratifying for you? What inspires you about the work you do?
I think from my perspective, the most gratifying part is when I have my clients reach out and express their gratitude for what we've done for them. And so it's not just about putting an auditor's report on their financial statements and ensuring that they're in compliance and making sure their financial transactions are in place, but it's the conversations that we have in terms of, you support my mission just by believing in what we do. So I, email a lot of my clients and say, wow, I saw this article in this blog post that came in about what you do. This is so cool. I'm really excited for what you all are doing. Just those little touch points, and knowing that my clients know that I'm invested in what they do and the feedback that they provide for me, I think is probably the most gratifying, because I'm not just a CPA. I'm not just an auditor that kind of does this to do it, right? I really am invested in a lot of the missions for my clients and what they do. And so I do track them. I do look them up. I do have Google Alerts set up because I want to know what's going on, not just because I want to know from an audit perspective, but I truly believe in what they do as a mission.
Great. Um, let's say you're having a conversation with I don't know, high school or college student, somebody who hasn't quite figured it out yet, struggling to find their path, figure out where they want to go, and what they want to do. I mean, what would you tell them about accounting?
So, the narrative that I typically give to even my daughter, who is 8 years old, her current dream is to open an ice cream shop. The narrative that I always give is that accounting is just the language of business. And so no matter what you do, you are either operating in a business or perhaps, you may get to a point where you're working for a corporation and you decide you want to become an entrepreneur and you want to open your own business, you want to run your own business. Accounting is what makes it all work. Accounting is the language. It's what you have to know. So even if you don't become an accounting major per se, taking as many accounting classes as you possibly can to really understand how business operates, because the entire world is a transaction. It falls into a financial transaction of some sort, whether you're buying a house, whether you're going to the grocery store, whether you are contracting with some kind of a vendor. If you are in a business, you have to know accounting because you have to know what that language is.
Mhm.
And so that's really the narrative that I give for the people that I talk to, even those that are still trying to figure it out. I know a lot of students who are, I'm just going to go into business. And I say, that's fine, but make sure you take as many accounting classes as you can. Because one day you're going to look back and you're going to thank yourself for doing that, because you're going to understand how it all works. If you
Yeah.
ever want to become a manager, a CEO, a COO, you got to know.
Great stuff there from Tricia Katebini. So glad she could take time out of her busy schedule to be with us here today. We want to hear from you as well. So head on over to macpa.org/why and share your story with us as we try to offer a little bit of inspiration for the next generation of accounting and finance professionals. We want to hear what your CPA purpose is as well. And so help us out with that. If you could take a few minutes, head on over there and share your story. In the meantime, thanks for being here. We'll be back next week. More stories to share then. Until then, have a great week. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.